Hi, I'm Looney, a serial entrepreneur turned teacher, an author, and investor. I'm the creator of Fledge, a global network of business accelerators, including the Land Accelerator Africa. Co-created that with WRI back in 2018. Last year, I spun out Africa Eats, a Pan-African investment holding company with 27 sustainable agribusinesses across Africa. Today, I'm here to explain the unique role of Realize Impact, my nonprofit. Realize Impact is an enthusiastic partner along with WRI and One Tree Planted in TerraFund. Through Realize Impact, we'll be converting philanthropic donations to impact investments in tree-based restoration businesses across Africa. Now, Realize Impact is not your ordinary nonprofit. We accept grants and gifts, but instead of turning around and making donations, we make impact investments. And we do this for a lot of different organizations. The TerraFund is a revolving loan fund, which means we'll be making a series of loans and we'll be expecting to be paid back. And then we'll make more loans from that same capital over and over again. These loans are going to be made to tree-based sustainable agriculture businesses across Africa. And we have a lot of experience doing that. We've done that in Fledge, we've done that in the Land Accelerator. And again, we've done that with Africa Eats. This just happens to be a map I had handy of 27 companies in 10 countries working with smallholder farmers, building the food supply chain across Africa. How we chose those companies is the same criteria we're using at the TerraFund. It's pretty simple. It starts out with team. First and foremost, you got to have a great team. You just can't build a successful business with one person. Secondly, we look at impact. And that doesn't just mean which impact we're working on, whether it's deforestation or hunger or malnutrition or poverty or anything else. It's also the scale of that impact. We much prefer, if we have a choice of two companies, we're going to pick the one that's at least national in scale, if not regional in scale. And then the rest of the criteria all boil down to what we call odds of success. This is all the typical things that investors look at in terms of the business plan and the financial model and the opportunity size and the complexity, how much money is needed and so forth, plus one more measure, and that's capital efficiency. This is a really simple metric. You take the last 12 months of revenues and you divide by the total amount of capital ever put into the company. That's it. In other words, if we gave you $1,000, how much would your revenues grow? Would they grow by $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000? We'll look at your historic efficiency. We'll look at your ask, how much money are you asking for and what's it going to get used for and where's it going to go? And with that and all the other criteria, we'll decide the best place to put our money because we have a limited amount of money. Now, speaking of your ask, here's what you should keep in mind. We told you what we're looking for: team, impact, and odds of success. So when you fill out your application, keep those criteria in mind. Think about whether those answers are showcasing what you do in the best light possible. Iterate on those answers a few times. And lastly, when you get to that question that asks, how much money do you need? Be reasonable. What do we mean by reasonable? Well, that number needs to match the scale of your business. It doesn't really matter what your aspirations are. You might want to have $1 million a year business, but if you only did $50,000 last year, you can't be asking for $500,000 or $600,000 or $1 million. The general rule of thumb is that lenders will give you the last 12 months of revenue as a new loan. So if you did $50,000 last year, your ask should be around $50,000. If you did $100,000 last year, it should be around $100,000. If you did $250,000 last year, it can be $250,000. That's a reasonable scale. But also, you have to show what you're going to do with the money, and the money that you're asking for has to get put to use in the next 12 months. You just can't ask for enough money to go and build your company for the next 2 or 3 years. And lastly, remember, when you're asking for money, you are competing with every other company that's raising money. And how many companies is that? Well, we don't know. We just know it's a lot. What we do know is at the Land Accelerator Africa in 2021, we received over 1,300 applications. And this fund is not going to have enough money to fund 1,300 companies. And this is why I say, iterate on your answers, make them as good as they can be, because we want to help you. But we have a limited amount of capital. And so we're going to use our criteria, especially that capital efficiency, to put that money to use in the most efficient way possible so we can make the money back and put it back into more companies later. And that's it. If you have any questions, you can reach me at realizeimpact.com. terrafund.org.